Hello everybody, this is your friend Dr. Prakash Moge, and today I am going to discuss with you one very unique concept or an idea whose time has come, and we all have to look into it as an opportunity to engage upon, and a very nice opportunity to serve our motherland and our country, a great country which has been there in the world since the world started almost. So the perspective or the angle which I'm talking to you about is as a teacher educator. I've been a teacher educator, first of all, in teaching by choice, unlike some other friends. So I've been into teaching by choice, and past 31 years, I've been a classroom teacher of the entire spectrum of education, starting from sometimes even class 3, standard 3, to the university postgraduate MBA courses and teacher training institute. So it has been a whole spectrum of education come through. Also, I have seen very closely as a head of the project, the national skill development program or national NSDC projects, and I have seen that how the skill market is evolving, and that is where the subject of today's discussion, that how our teaching community, which is struggling for survival, how it can catch up and be the decision makers or be the change the country wants them to be. Now, somewhat I would like to request, I would like to suggest that I'm taking the video off, and then I'll continue with my discussion, and toward the end, once again, I will start the video and I'll continue the discussion. So I'm just taking my video off, but I'll continue. So the discussion which I want to promote now, and I would invite all of you to be a part of it, because that is going to decide our country's map of talent and how to use our talent. The basic premise on which I am going to start now is that our country today needs the knowledge infrastructure. Today, our country has somewhat begun taking strides in the field of physical infrastructure, like we are seeing so many highways being updated and so many shopping malls coming up, or so many flyovers wherever you go. Today, our path is a bit difficult because wherever you go, you find trenches and like roads in progress. But soon they are going to be highways, like we have seen that so many places happening. So, but in any case, that is the physical infrastructure. Like you see, IT, such a state-of-the-art information technology, like it is joking where it is said in the developed countries and different elite forums that India people don't have toilets to go, but they definitely have mobile in their hand. So that is a sad part, but certainly that's a reality. So all in all, our physical infrastructure is shaping up. Like if you go to those dirty railway compartments, now they are really cleaned up, and we see so many biodegradable, toilets and so many things improving everywhere. So physical infrastructure certainly is improving, but question is, what will happen to the knowledge infrastructure? So knowledge infrastructure, and until we improve knowledge infrastructure, until we become leaders in knowledge, we are going to remain just another white-collar servants instead of blue-collar servants. So we are going to take pride in being service providers, then the service creator or knowledge creator, and creator of industries and manufacturing and all these things. They are not that much happening as we are popular in the world as service providers, or as we are popular in the world as people who are have great help and people who are a great second line. So if we want to come to the front line, and if we want to lead from the front, and if we want to be champions into manufacturing and these kind of things, then certainly we need a very, very redoing, or certainly a very, very holistic approach and a very new approach toward knowledge creation and knowledge dissemination. Now, these always seem to be very, 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 very big things to do, but it's not that big as well. So today I am sharing with you like how I see the teacher community or teaching community once again leading this whole process, and how we all can come together to do our bit in developing the country further and creating a real effective knowledge infrastructure, as well as developing our own careers on the way. So first of all, what teachers can do, what is the role of a teacher, and where this teacher fits into this whole thing. So before that, I would like to give you that how is the market opening? I mean, where is what is the need for all this discussion? So first thing first, I read a lot of reports of NHDC when I was in a NHDC project for about 1.5 years. I headed a national project of NHDC in a very big organizational setup. So I came across different reports of NHDC. So every report, whether it is infrastructure, whether it is manufacturing sector, or I mean, whether it is banking and banking sector, or it is agriculture sector, or it is the gems and jewelry sector, everywhere, or it is the education and training sector. So all these sector, tourism sector, whichever sector you take, there are nearly 21 sectors. I could see that everywhere there is a need of trained manpower. So now the question is that when there is a need of a trained manpower, and Government of India has the ambitious plan to scale up and to upgrade 50 crore people in by 2022. That's a huge number by any measure. Most of the countries do not have that much population also. So Government of India is contemplating and very seriously committed. It has committed to the nation as well as to each other, different departments, and they have been very serious. And luckily, even change of government has not made any effect. In fact, with change of government, there has been a separate ministry which is going to look after this whole activity at a very thrust area. Instead of earlier, there were different ministries having quotas that you will do this upskilling. But now under Pratap Singh Rudi, the current government has made a special, separate, centralized, independent department, cabinet department to look after all these things. They look into all these things. So now when the skill market is exploding, now you want to have these many people, 50 crore people you want to be trained. Now 50 crore people means if you feel that in a whole life, if somebody can teach, suppose 10,000 people, that is also a very big number. Whole life, if you can teach 10,000 people in classroom teaching, or suppose even max to max, you can teach say 50,000 people in a whole life. But still, if you have to teach 50 crore people, so how many people are needed? That is the point number one. So if you have to upskill so many people, and that this is all besides the school and colleges going on, university going on, everything going on. Other than over and above that, you have to teach, you have to upgrade, you have to upskill 50 crore people in this country. It is the scenario which is there. Now, in every sector, whether it is, and I have been closely watching many sectors as a part of that project, and what is the need coming of that project. So everywhere, again and again, you need trainers. You need teachers, you need trainers. You need trainers, you call it trainer, you call it instructor, you call it teacher. But basically, you need somebody to impart that knowledge to the next batch, or that expertise to the next batch. So ultimately, transformational learning is taking place. And once transformational learning is taking place, you call it whatever, but ultimately it's kind of a teacher-student relationship. You call it training, you call it corporate training, you call it whatever big name you give, or you call it school teaching, whatever you call it. But ultimately, it's a question of imparting knowledge. So therefore, there is a huge demand of people who can impart knowledge. So that is a big thing which is lying in front of us. And the teacher community, unfortunately, because of the lack of all this knowledge and because of the lack of information, and the teacher community is very happy doing, unfortunately, in many parts of the country, they are paying to the organization. This is also the situation in some of the, I would not name the states, but in some of the states where huge unemployment is there, and to get government quota seats, the teachers are paying to the organization. Okay, we will pay you this much, so you give us that seat, which is going to be a government seat. So this is a very common phenomenon. Almost all the listeners who are listening to this talk must have faced it themselves, or must have seen somebody facing that very unfortunately. So anyway, that is the scenario which is there. And the other side also, there are schools which are paying, I am even ashamed to say, but there are schools and even colleges, and I have seen with my own eyes those colleges, which are paying to the teachers 5,000 rupees, that too showing as if they are doing a lifetime obligation on that person for an 8-hour presence They are not ready to pay 5,000 rupees also to the teacher in this era of uh, whatever you call it, dearness, mengai, whatever you call it. But in this era, people are not ready to pay 5,000 rupees also to a teacher who is raising their generations and who is filling their coffers. And you call it CBSE, all A to Z, all organizations are that way, very, very indifferent to what teachers are getting as a salary. So that is a very, very big alarm bell to the teachers that there are regulations for, I mean, it will be very blanket remark, but I would not mince my words in saying out of last nearly 31 years, I've been watching this drama called education by different organizations and different regulatory bodies. CBSE is only a fees collection center. I don't see it having any other role. It doesn't bother for parents. It doesn't bother for teachers. It doesn't bother for the students either. Whatever whim comes to them, they execute it. And they are just a fees collection center. And regulatory in the sense that either for inspection they collect fees, or for giving recognition they collect fees, or they are interested in just collecting examination fees. Other than that, I have not seen any CBSE inspection committee for talking to teachers. I have not seen any CBSE regulatory committee to understand the problems of parents. And there are so many groups, Sahodaya group and what drama, so many things are going on. But nowhere, no day you hear that today there is an open house or there is a meeting for if some management is charging exorbitant fees, if some management doesn't have toilets for children in the school, nobody bothers. You pay our fees and you are CBSE affiliated. Amazingly, although it will be little going away from the topic, but amazingly, in the same country, same CBSE gives recognition to schools which are running 4 hours. Whole school is finished in 4 hours. There are CBSE schools within the same country who are finishing in 8 hours. Then where is the regulation? So that is a separate issue of discussion, but it's an important point that we are so much dying. People are dying to get into CBSE school, and people are dying into these kind of affiliations. But at the bottom, what is their basic duty is to check the students' problems and the problems parents are facing. There is not a single thing done about that. Okay. That is a government organization, and that is good. Whatever they are doing is their work, but it is certainly a point of concern that teachers are not being paid. So I'm trying to indicate you again and again through this discussion that you don't expect any regulatory body to think for you. You don't expect NCT today till yesterday, 1 year B.Ed was sufficiently good. This year, 2 year B.Ed is mandatory. And then once again, within few months, there is a UN cry that it should be made 1 year. So you just don't think that any regulatory body is going to do anything concrete for the teachers, and teachers will have to think of themselves that where are we going to and what are we going to do. So I would like to suggest you that you just hone your skills little more, and there is huge opportunity in the field of skills training. There is huge opportunity in the field of private tutoring. There is a huge opportunity in the field of online learning, online teaching. So these are the fields which are waiting for high quality teachers, good quality teachers in different mediums. And that is also extremely important point, that it is not that you must know English, then you could do online teaching. It is not that you must know English, then you can do any other kind of training. So in fact, if you can communicate the same thing in your mother tongue, then certainly there is going to be huge access to, going to be huge number of people waiting for you to do that particular thing. So I have just discussed with you very, very broadly that what is the huge market which exists today. Today it is existing. It is a Government of India regulation. It's not going to change. Any government comes, it will push the NHDC agenda further. Nobody is going to push the NHDC agenda back. It can't be retrieved. It is such an expanded agenda, and it is such a declared agenda that nobody, when two opposite governments have done it, then where is the third government coming? And whoever comes, it has to do. So for all the teachers who are already good instructors, For all the teachers who are already knowing their subject, it is just small change you have to do in your methodology, in your being available. Like you think only in terms of your classroom, or you think only in terms of your tuitions. So you just think of doing the same thing but on a bigger scale. How that will happen and what will happen, that also I'm going to give you a bit orientation to that. So this is the framework, that there is huge market existing as such today because of the Government of India's policies, declared policies, and Government of India is ready to fund any effort to supplement their work. They are having, there are individuals who have been funded to the extent of 10 crore rupees individually, in individual capacity, to create teachers, to train teachers of technology and train. So Government of India is really waiting for good efforts and good people, and it's ready to fund all kinds of activities which you are, as an organized person, you are doing, and for which what we call as working capital. Government of that NHDC project doesn't give any kind of funding for raising a building or raising anything. But certainly if you have everything, tie-ups and different things ready with you, then you are an expert and you are short of money because of the organization. Like you can't organize seminars, you can't go and travel, you can't give advertisement, you don't have computers. So for all these things, what is in business language called working capital, for working capital raising, the Government of India is very keen through the NHDC to provide any and all kind of assistance which is there. So that is point number one, that it is the Government of India's work itself is expanding and there is a huge demand of teachers. Now, how to do it, that part I am going to discuss just now. So this is the agenda number one, where Government of India wants, its projects are going on. It's not jobs, but we can catch those things. People are needing training and you can give training. That is point number one. Point number two is, in India there is a dearth of what is known as para teaching services. This is another area where if teachers polish their skills little, they can do wonderful tasks. Like, what is para teaching services? Para teaching services are those, like paramedical services. Like medical doctor is there, so nurse is there. That is nursing services. But like, for example, technicians are there, or lab technicians are there, or so many blood banks are there. So these are all paramedical services, which are supporting the medical fraternity to serve its patients better. Similarly, in advanced societies, there are what is known as para teaching services. Now, what will come under para teaching services? Broadly, very quickly, if I have to add one or 2 points only, because a lot of things we are going to discuss now, and certainly individually, and later on I am going to give separate modules like this on all these topics. But so right now I'll give a brief view of what could be the para teaching services. One of the para teaching services could be educational testing. That is, assessing the different students' level of attainment as a concept level of attainment. You can call it academic testing, or you can do, even if not directly academic, then you can test their concepts of skills, the execution of skills and potential, and so many other things you can do, which all come under psychometric testing or educational testing. You can do it, and you can work on that line. That is one very, very big area where no institutional effort I see after so many years. There are there are science Olympiads and myths Olympiad, and a lot of money is made out of that. That is okay, but there is no easily available, or it's not like mobile SIMs. You say you want to have a 10 rupee recharge, you can go to the next shopkeeper and you can pay 10 rupees and get your mobile recharge. Now, companies like Airtel or Idea, I'm not promoting any company, but companies like Airtel or Idea, these are huge people, but still they are selling 10 rupees recharge. Why? Because it sells. And that is why they have become big. So we teachers don't think like that. Our things are not available. In education, things are not available at all. And they are available, they are at such a price that people don't enter there. And where they are freely available, people don't know that it is freely available. So it's a big mess in the whole field, and there is a big gap between what is available, what is known to be available, and what should be available. So these all gaps I am discussing in this particular talk, that how to fill up these gaps and how to make a decent reputation, decent income. And let us talk of money also. Teachers must talk of money, because teachers are not living in vacuum. That time is gone when if somebody was a teacher, somebody used to bring vegetable for teacher, somebody used to bring something for teacher. Today, everything is currency oriented. No teacher will be allowed to sit in an auto rickshaw without, because he's a teacher free of cost, or you can't travel a Nagar Seva because you're a teacher. You can't get anything because you're a teacher. Why? Because everything, the common denominator is currency. So then why teachers shouldn't think in terms of earning currency or earning that money? So that is what I'm talking about. And I'm going to always, like not only today, but throughout that you interact with me, I'm certainly going to talk about making money. And that is one of the major agenda, awakening the teachers and getting non-guilty about talking of money and about earning money. That's very, very important. And of course, with the due diligence and with due professional respect, we have to earn all that money. So we were talking of para teaching services. So one of them is the testing services, which is a huge scope is there. You know, like for example, GMAT, GRE, TOEFL. These are the tests, and these are having such high reputation because they are the criteria of comparison. Today, if you say that my GRE score is suppose 1500, then out of 1600, if your score is 1500, then people easily understand what does it mean. So today, if I had to compare two students of different school within the city, then there is no way for me other than looking at their mark sheet. So why can't we all teachers? We have been teaching each area. I mean, I wouldn't like to say such word, but each school of us is making different tests. Each school is making different tests. Each teacher is making different tests. And you don't know what is being omitted, what is being taught, and what is being taken, how it is being taken. You don't have any idea. And then you say, because somebody gives a flashy ad, you think that school is good and that school is good. And if you compare mark sheet, it speaks nothing. So in this all UN it didn't clear. If the teachers are able to come out with one product, look, this is the product which has nothing to do with this school or that school or that school. We are independent setup and we have come out professionally with this list of concepts. All of us who are listening to this discussion, you just give a thought. It's a very serious thing I am talking to you, appearing to be a very small thing, but actually it's a very serious thing. We all have worked in teaching for so many years. We have seen so many professors and so many big universities and so many big funding agencies and whatnot we have seen, NCERT and with due respect to all. But tell me one thing, have you come across a list of some words that a class 6 student is supposed to know these words? A class 9 student must know this word, could know this word, should know these words. Or mathematical competence, this class child entering 8th standard should know these competencies, should be able to do these operations. Nothing. I have been part of many big educational setups in India and to different parts of India. I have always seen that parent-teacher meeting, parents are coming, and then the permanent standard answer is, your child concept is weak, his foundation is weak, his basics are weak, he doesn't know basic, you have to revise his basics, his fundamentals you need to work on. Arey Baba, but where is the list? There is no list anywhere that what is the concept or what is your notion of fundamentals of a child. So in this big absence, in this big gap, we come out with something which measures the child's mathematical competence, what he's supposed to know. And then you provide a point of comparison, just see what happens. So this is very much needed and it's not available in such a big country. So many people are doing so much of research, so many PhDs are going on, and such fundamental thing is not available at a reasonable price and popularly known way. There may be good tests available and there will be good tests available. I know a few of them, but they are either highly priced or they are highly classified, like every person doesn't know about them. The third thing where big work is needed and big work can be done and is not being done, that is the work of written ability. You see, every nook and corner of any good city you go and you will find classes for spoken English. Now, what is their state is another big question mark, because I have seen people who came to study English from me, and in the evening they conducted their classes. So that is a very separate issue. But even among the good teachers who are teaching good spoken English and everything is okay. But is there any institute where written English is taught? In a city like Indore, I am from Indore, in Madhya Pradesh, India. In a city like Indore, there is only city in India which is an IIT, which is an IIM, and which has got three universities, and which has got n number of engineering colleges, an equal number of management colleges. I think nearly 30 B.Ed colleges, and within Indore, nearing Indore, around 100 CBSE schools. So this big thing, it has got the city of Indore. But in my 40 years stay in Indore, I have not seen an institute which we can say the Institute of Writing dedicatedly and declaredly. You are an English institute, you teach writing, that's another thing. But there is no dedicated institute which will teach the most important skill of writing. You will find teachers or people taking the easier way of teaching personality development, soft skill, etc., because it is very easy to fool around in those areas. But the question of soft skill comes only when you are selected for the interview. But to get into the interview, you have to go through the written test. Because India is a exam-centered country, it's going to be. I mean, we can't, either you break your head fighting against that wall of examination, or you find some way of using that wall. It's your choice. So I'm of the second type. I will use that system. I'm not one of those. Of course, wish is there in the heart that we find some alternate. But till that alternate comes, if you think of sitting quiet, then I think some few more generations will pass and you will have to sit quiet there also. So in our obsessed, exam-obsessed country, obsessed with examination and so many kinds of examinations, boards and so many things, you can't deny the importance of writing. But at the same time, it is also a fact that there is not a single institute, known institute, forget India level, even locally, I'll be very happy if audience of this audience of this particular recording, you can inform me, even in some remote part of the country, that some institute is there where only for written English or written language, the skills of writing are taught. So it's a huge area. I mean, from school level to college level, already this is a big area itself. Like if you can teach writing skills to those levels. Then more than that, then there are competitive exam writing people who need this. Then there are working executives who need this. Even policemen, you can't write, if you write a complaint, once it happened, I have had so many fights in my life on justice and getting justice and denied of justice, etc., etc. So one of the incidences was there when recent incidences were there, when I wrote a very strong worded complaint and gave it to police. And I came back. Later on, one of my friends, who was friends on both sides, he told me your complaint, they have not understood your complaint. Because who will read your complaint? In the police station, there are hardly people who can read hardly the mother tongue. So therefore that got delayed. So what I'm trying to say is, even there you need training to teach them how to understand language, written English. Then if they can't understand what is written, then there is no question of writing that. So therefore, there is a huge scope, huge. I mean, I can't imagine how much scope is there. It is limited only by your limitations. It is unlimited scope. And these are all, mind you, these are all the 2-3 things which I'm discussing, these are all repetitive and cyclic. So this is another huge scope where teachers can come together and do good amount of work and earn good amount of money and give good skill return to the person who is investing on you. Third thing, another thing which is very, very big and which is happening and which is required but not happening is the concept of the approach of teaching. Today, if we are teaching, you have to teach either in a school or in a college or max to max in a coaching class. These are the 3 venues where you can teach. Otherwise, you are not a teacher. And that also, if you have to enter a school, you need to be a B.Ed. If you want to enter a college, you need to be NET qualified. Otherwise, you are or the GMAT, GET, etc., a PhD. So otherwise, you may get in for a while, but you can't progress. You can't do anything further until you clear this. If you call it hurdle or you call it professional qualification, whatever. So that is another big challenge area, and unfortunately, in our country, the teacher training is a part which is the most of popular toy with the politicians, and everybody plays the way one wants to play. And more than that, there is an entry-level barrier only in teaching line. This is very, very big irony. Whatever is the angle, you tell me one thing today, the country's education minister can be somebody who himself or herself, I'm not talking about the current, anything related to the current ministry, I'm talking a general comment. The education minister of state or the center can be somebody who is not even any standard pass. You can be, there is no minimum qualification for becoming education minister of a country. Chalo, wo to theek hai. Politicians are to be blamed, so okay. Education secretary of a country can be any plain graduate because a third division or what you call it pass. A pass graduate can become an IAS officer, can take up the grade up, can take internal promotions, and can become an education secretary of a state or of a country. Subsequently, all these central advisory board of education and all these bodies, they can be an ornamental presence, or they can be a very advanced position of decision making. They are sitting, although they are simple plain graduates, and that also a past graduate like it, because in IAS there is no restriction of any percentage of as a qualifying as a writing entry level. But if you want to be a teacher, similarly, all the bank officers, if you want to be a bank officers, then also you have to be, you must have a simple graduation, and you can be a bank internal, you keep doing your CIB or whatever exams are there, and you can become a senior most, even governor of RBI, you can become. Perhaps RBI, you need to be first class in postgraduate. Earlier it was, I don't know the current status. But in any case, you can reach a very high, good, highest position in a bank, although you might have started as a simple graduate who passed the bank PO examination. So, person who is handling your money can be a simple graduate. Person who is deciding the education policy, IAS officer, can be a simple graduate, and a person who is handling that IAS officer, the minister, can be even middle pass. But even to appear in the B.Ed entrance examination, you have to be higher second class postgraduate or higher second class. This logic is beyond me. Why so? You have to get, when you are taking an entrance examination, then entrance examination also should be preconditioned. This is, I think, too much. Whereas the policy, wherever we are going at the policy level, there you have no restriction to be an IAS officer or to be a education minister. There is no restriction on that. But for entering, you can't even think of becoming a teacher if you are not a higher second class graduate. So this is postgraduate. So this is something where blockade is there, but for my discussion, huge opportunity is there. What I'm trying to say now is, there are large number of people who could not become teacher because of this hurdle. They are very good teachers and they are very good human beings, because most of the time these girls, especially girls, they are either elder in the house or they are the only girl child in the house. So they constantly help mother in their homework, works of the home, and so many other things at pressure, so many works they have in family. So they could not get a good percentage and they could not get into B.Ed. But they have been teaching, tutoring their brothers, their siblings and their neighbors, and they are earning whatever small earning they are doing out of that. But they are good teachers. So that is where, again, I see a huge opportunity for involving or imbibing or including those people, good teachers, but who are systematically killed for not even being able to write the entrance test. So, government policies, we don't want to fight with government, or we are not in a position to say anything there. But there is a huge opportunity if we can attract these people, these ladies, girls, young girls and ladies into our fold to be a teacher with us. Now the question is that how this all thing will happen and what you will do and what you will gain out of that. This is the big question. So this all will happen by coming together, and I'm addressing you because you are related to teaching. Either you are directly a teacher or you have been into teacher training institute. So you are aware of what teaching is, and you are aware of all this discussion which I'm doing. So the only thing is now to think little differently, think little ahead of time, and adopt technology to do all these things. Today, if you are a teacher trainer, you are a good teacher trainer, so you must have taught at least few batches of your teacher training so far. And your students must have been spread into different schools, some many good schools, some moderate schools, some coaching class. So let us first of all come together. And what to do? So let us first of all come together and form a database of teachers, because all the program of teacher, this Teacher Plus about which I'm talking, which is the flagship work which Moge Education Consultancy is going to do. In this Teacher Plus, all the entry is free. Like anybody and everybody who is even interested in teaching, it could be a parent, it could be a teenager, it could be a graduate, it could be a postgraduate, it could be a non-graduate, it could be anyone and everyone who is interested in teaching or knowing about teaching or knowing about education, anything you want to do related to teaching, you are having a free membership right in this organization. So I'm inviting everybody who is listening to this and who knows few people who are thinking on these lines, who want to earn decent money, who want to serve our Indian society, and who want to do something. And the biggest thing which I want to bring to your knowledge is that today there are some organizations, I'll not name them because it's a big corporate war, and then you have to face litigation, and so many things happen because they have, I mean, their ego is hurt, then they go to any extent. So I don't want to take any name here, but certainly all of you might be knowing some names who are claiming to be very scholarly people and very academically high private platforms. And so many other ways they are trying to show that they are the technology wizards and they are so. But the point is that all these people who are trying in education scenarios, so many things, they are all very, very top heavy organizations. If you will go to the board of directors, you just go through their board of directors, you will find all IIMs, all IITs, IIMs, IITs, venture capitalists. So that's a money game. It's a top organization, top heavy organization, and it's a money game. Whereas Moge Education Consultancy is, I am myself a classroom teacher for past 31 years, my wife has been, and we are all like all those people you will see on our board or anywhere, they are down to earth teachers. And they have come up from teaching, they have had the struggle of teaching, they have seen the classroom teaching, and we are all from classroom grassroots level. Somebody may be a full professor, somebody may be a even vice chancellor, but ultimately you have been teacher and you have seen that struggle of a classroom teacher, what happens, and you have seen. So we are raising or we are visualizing a work which will be carried by teachers and which has been visualized by teachers. So all the whole thing, the feel has come from the ground. The demand of these things has come from the ground. Otherwise, there are so many MBAs, there are so many IIMs and so many McKinsey and so many big organizations are there. But these kind of depth or this kind of grip of gaps in the market, which I discussed you might not have come across, heard, or you have not seen such things in the market, because that requires a knowledge of the field and the real tacit knowledge of the field, which my friends and I have earned and my friends have been sharing it. So that is where the opportunity exists, that we all ourselves and our friends and friends, everywhere we spread that such an opportunity is available. And then once we make a database, once we start interacting, then I will come out with large number of, we will together come out with good number of courses for teachers, first of all, and to orient them to technology, to orient them to using technology, for example, online teaching, and MOOC, the massive open online courses, and so many things can be done. And our all teacher community who is today struggling for existence, like for example, I can quote you here, that because of the decision of this 2-year B.Ed, many B.Ed colleges have come to a close. because they don't have resources to run 2-year B.Ed and 2-year M.Ed parallel, and they don't have resources to pay to the teachers the way NCT dictates terms. They don't have money to buy infrastructure. They don't have money to sustain the infrastructure or the physical infrastructure or the IT infrastructure to conduct such a thing. So unfortunately, many of our teacher colleagues are today literally on road. Like the institutes are closed and they are facing a very serious challenge as to what to do. So all these people are most welcome to discuss the possibilities, and we'll come together. And we need teachers of all kinds. Don't think that we need teacher trainers. We need teachers of all kinds, physical education teachers, all sorts of teachers. So let all the teachers come together and let us, we are not going to do dharna kar rahe hain aur jantar mantar pe ja rahe hain, nothing of that sort. We are going to sit on our respective places and we are going to extensively interact on emailing and messages and this kind of voice messages. And I'm going to help you, all the teachers, to start learning all these things and to change the path of their career from being a very, very ordinary classroom teacher. If you use your skills in a little polished way, then the same teacher who was struggling to earn 5,000 rupees a month can earn 5,000 rupees a day. That much is big is the market. As I told you, so many crores of people are to be trained, then who's going to train them? And what I'm going to do, what is my role going to be in that? So this Teacher Plus and through other activities, the Mortgage Education Consultancy will play a very, very important and pivotal role under the leadership of one of our colleagues. And it's a lady colleague. So that lady colleague is going to be the project head and is going to supervise all these activities of our vision. And we are going to align our activities together. And we are going to teach our teacher community that how to use ICT, how to use the online teaching, how to use different platforms to better yourself, to better project yourself, and how to make money while sitting home. You don't have to go and sweat anywhere. You don't have to go and drag your feet, travel many kilometers just for earning few hundred rupees, 1,000 rupees a month. So everything will come to you if you are equipped. But at the same time, I would like to caution all the teachers here who are listening and who will approach me later on, that you don't expect any miracle to happen overnight. I'm not a politician or any kind of a political hope I want to create. I'm a professional person, and I'm giving you a vision that if you work on certain line of action and if you work consistently in that line of action, we are there to support you to get where you want to go. But nothing, there's no magic. It's not that money is pouring from somewhere and it will make you rich overnight. You will have to earn your bread and you will have to learn your skills. And that is how that combination is going to be a very, very winning combination. But one thing I can promise you today, that whole world is looking at India as a big number of people available and with some English, somewhat good English, better than most of the foreign countries, non-English countries speak. We speak much better English. And when we converse, I converse often with my counterparts in US and advanced platforms which we are using. So we never find any issue in communicating ourselves or to understand their language. So that is how the whole scene is. It's a very, very positive scene. So I invite all my friends and colleagues to give it a thought to this whole thing. And let us start sharing. Toward the end, I'll just write my email ID here and my contact number here. So you can just give me a minute. I'll write here. Dr. P.N. Moge at drpnmoge.com. This is my email ID and this is my phone number. And another phone number, 7387551752. So these are the contact places. I mean, you can contact like this. You can mail me. You can contact me on phone. but I would prefer that you start with mail and not phones, because it's impossible to handle so many phones. Messages are fine, but 99% I will prefer that you write a mail to me, and don't send too many attachments in the mail. You are interested, we just write here the subject line, expression of interest. Expression of interest can be the subject line. I'm just writing very hurriedly. Let me write properly so that all can read. Okay, you can write this as a subject line, and then you can write the mail to me. Kindly do not attach your biodata, or kindly do not attach your too many details, because then it is impossible to read all those. Certainly, few lines you can write, and then I'll catch you if you are really good about it, and I would like to know and meet all of you. So this is about the whole project, and I see a great scope in working together, in being together. And what I often call as it's our duty, moral duty toward the country, which has given us so much, which has given us birth in this country, one of the best countries in the world, as a very, very human country here. And this is the country which is a very, very nice country, and I really love it. I've been abroad also, but I like my country very much. So we need to return to our country, and we need to owe a lot to our country. And I would like to almost conclude by saying that we need to provide affordable quality education for all. This is my theme on which I'm working: affordable quality education for all. And all means all. It could be schoolgoers, it could be rickshaw drivers, it could be thela wala, it could be pan wala, it could be a puncture mechanic, anybody and everybody who wants to learn. We are there to, it's our duty to teach. And unfortunately, these both words have the same spelling. So we are here and not here. So that is the theme on which we are going to work. And I believe all of you who are listening are already very, very positive people, and you are full of energy and strength. So all the ladies, especially the ladies, are most welcome to connect and to go further. And at your home, you will get everything through the internet and other things. And there is nothing that I am requiring you to come to some city and get some training. If you want to do that, that will be a secondary level. Now, question is, almost concluding, we are now concluding the discussion. Question is that where all people are required. So if you are a teacher trainer, if you can be a master trainer. If you are very good at some subject, you can be a very good content developer. So like this, hundreds and thousands of possibilities are there which are existing today. And there is no one whose talent cannot be used. You can be a very good negotiator. You can be a very good coordinator of resources. You can provide us technology help. So the scope is unlimited. I mean, whatever you think you are good at, you come up and we are going to work through that. So that is how this whole project will evolve. And I see toward approaching, connecting and training not less than 1 lakh teachers in the next 10 years. So you could be one of those 1 lakh teachers, and each of them I want to make to be very, very rich and famous through their own professional competence. So that is where the project of Teacher Plus is going to head us to. Now I'm restarting my video so that we can conclude, look at each other, and we can conclude happily. Just a minute. There's some issue, looks like, in the video. Anyway, so that is how we are discussing these things. Yeah, here it comes. So friends, that is what I wanted to share with you. And all the thoughts expressed here are absolutely as a private discussion. And there is nothing, no formal discussion of this type. And what I'm trying to say is a very, very, I open my heart to you, and you think on all these issues, and feel free to connect as you feel proper. But this moment is going to be there, and I request you, and I wish you, and I invite you all to be part of this particular excellent work which you are decided to do, and we are going to do it in the interest of our country. Okay then, bye-bye.